Hey guys, today I want to talk about some project I was working on. So I played Echo in the last few weeks, as I mentioned in the other video, and I needed to calculate some things, for example, the street length and how much street blocks I needed. And I also wanted to plan my base in a 3D application. So I built this Echo Planner, and I also wanted to know how large my rooms should be, and so the crafting tables could fit inside and would work inside the rooms. So starting with the Echo Planner, if you open it up, it already loads oh, some historical things. So if you load this page the first time, it should be blank, so you have your grid in the middle, and on the right side you have your buildings you can build. So if you select it, the cursor also would change. If you, for example, want to build a stockpile, um, you would just move your mouse and click it, and it should and would and will place the stockpile. Another feature is that due to the fact that Echo is 3D, you can also, adjust the saddle level or the height, for example. So the stockpile is 5 blocks high. So if we go 5 blocks higher, yeah, the stockpile won't get rendered anymore due to the fact it is only 5 blocks high. So we can also build and block, for example, this location. And yeah, this tool is used so you can place your roads, for example, and also I wanted to place some blast furnaces, and yeah, so I wanted to play around a little bit and plan my stuff. And yeah, you can also save it, so if you reload your page, it should be still there. I also wanted to have a nicer view than this 2D grid, so I added this library called Free.js, so it's the same, just a new page. And here you can see here's a 3D view um, of your created world. So as you can see, the stockpiles, the blast furnaces, and the roads are displayed, and also on this side we have this floating stockpile. Yeah, so you can go back to the editor. I'm using Free.js, so it's a very nice library to render 3D objects on the browser. Of course, this use case isn't the whole thing this library can do. It can way more. Yeah, so that's the first tool I was working on. The second tool, let's go back to the main page, is the street calculator. So I wanted to paste some coordinates from Echo directly in my website, and yeah, it should calculate the street length. So we can go and open up Echo, for example, and we have our world, and then yeah, it's necessary to build some roads, as players of Echo should know. And for example, we can just zoom in and drop a marker on this location, and this is only needed to get the um, coordinates. So we have this coordinates from this point, and then we just yeah paste as we copy the coordinates, paste it in, and edit, and this will add this. Yeah, this will just re-render the whole page and calculate some things. So of course, due to the fact it's only 1 point, there are no blocks needed to build. But if we, for example, would go to the other side, to this other continent, I call it, and zoom and drop a marker, we can also copy this coordinates. And so you have this road, for example, and paste this in. And as you can see, so there is 109 blocks in between on the X level, and this would be 327 blocks. needed, and total 327 blocks. So if, for example, you can also change the width. So if you say you want to build a 5-width street, of course there are way more materials needed, and you can change the stack size multiplicator to 1. So 1 is the default, so one stack can only hold 20 road items or blocks. So this would cause yeah to so we would need 28 stacks of stone roads, for example. So you can also change the materials to say you want to build a asphalt road. In this case, it won't change anything on this. It's only changing the required raw resources. So on the bottom you can see to craft these 300 road blocks you would need sand and crushed rock and cement. And also I added the possibility to select the upgrade you will use. So for example, if you have a level 3 upgrade, this will reduce the cost by 40%, leading to only 98 cement, for example, you would need. And yeah, you can play around. You can also add another point, for example. So if we just go up, so we want to build the road until this point, for example. Yeah, this is in the border, but never mind. So we can copy this coordinates and also add it just to the list. So it will calculate the distance between the points before. So in this case, the distance between this point and this points are on the x level 0 and on the z level like 95. And this will lead to way more materials you will need. So it adds those values together, and so this would cause you to build 600 stone roads. And I play with the 60 stacks, and this would be 10 stacks of stone roads or asphalt roads, for example. Yeah, if you reload, all your points are lost, but I guess yeah, you can just get them again. So this is the street tool. The last tool I was building is the Echo Room Calculator. This isn't finished. It is like 50%, I guess. So on this side you can select a table. For example, you have in the early game like the tailoring table you want to build, and did you add this? And if you add it, this is the list of this one room you will build. And so it requires 25 room volume and no room tier. And then you specify the room height, so it's 3, and the stack multiplicator as well. And this would lead, due to the fact it's only one table, to a required room volume of 25, and then it calculates with your specified height of the room that it would need 3 by 3 by 3 air volume to have this 27. So it's like the required room volume is yeah inside smaller than the room volume, the air volume. And of course you need to build a wall around it, so I added 2 to each level. So you would need to build a 5 and 5 by 5, and this would lead to 998 blocks, and with the stack multiplier of 3 it would lead to 1.5 stacks of stone. So yeah, if you, I calculated by hand, so it should like 90% be right. And we can, for example, also add machinist table. So this would require 25 more volume. So the room would need to cover at least 50 space. Yeah, and it's always also always calculating the smallest room. Of course, if you bet this, you would need 75, and when if you build your room in this size, it will met this conditions. So you can also specify more height of your room, and if you add it, yeah, of course the room gets smaller, but yeah, you need also more blocks. Yeah. So it's kind of it gives you a small direction how much blocks needed approximately. And I want to add also the room tier feature, so my data already have this values, and I also want to add like on the street calculator the raw materials list. But yeah, I still need to work on it. But maybe in the next few weeks I will add it. Um, to yeah, okay, so I have two more projects, two small ones. So this is my source code of my tools I already mentioned. And then we can open up this. So another tool is just in console. So if you, yeah, it requires Node.js. So it's in JavaScript runtime to be installed on your PC. And for example, reveal in File Explorer, this mod directory is the mod directory of the Echo server. So this is the same data, and I just added some small script, this data extractor script, which can be seen here. Yeah, this is maybe kind of complicated. So it has two different tasks. So the first one is to find all item IDs. So in this file, all the icons the vanilla game adds will be listed. So this is the name for modding. This is for modding purposes to validate some item names. But the second task is to create this crafting tables list. So you can see on the right. So here we go. We have our advanced carpentry table, for example, and there we have our room volume and room tier needed. And this, of course, reads the auto-generated world object directory from the Echo server and reads the file and checks if this is a crafting table. So the crafting component needs to be inside the file. Yeah, and then it just splits and extracts the values from the C code. So we can just open up, for example, this directory. We can open up the table. What table? Yeah, this table. So as you can see, so here this is the C code or CS file I would can call it, and here is the crafting component. So we know this is a crafting station, and then the require room volume is specified and the require room material tier specified. And yeah, I just extract it. I just check for some strings, and yeah, I have some busy regex stuff going on. The code isn't that best practice. It's more like it works, it is fine. And yeah, we also just specify the name, and then this will be the output. And also this file is powering, for example, the this selection. So yeah, if you saw me, so this data is powered, and this is the same one. So if you can go to our console and sources and open up this, uh, oh, so it isn't mentioned here. Hmm. Yeah, well, it's in the background. It will, yeah, so it's powering this, or it's, yeah, powering this selection. So the next tool is like more abstract. You can use it for some more projects, I guess. So it's about, for example, you have some. So I had the mod generator, for example, is a very, very huge project with a lot of classes around and a lot of directories and some validation. So we need to validate some attributes and so on and so on. And yeah, this is kind of complicated, as you can maybe guess, and it's kind of hard to, for example, if someone else wants to, yeah, add code to this project, yeah, it would maybe be helpful to have a documentation about this, or wiki site. So I wanted to create automatically a documentation. So here, for example, we have our mod code. So this is my echo mod generator project, and we can specify hello video people. For example, some stuff here and say input required, and then we specify directly in the file and yeah, say required keys. So we paste it and we don't need to write anything else, any other two files, we just do it in our class directly, and we need to use this OP docs or some other stuff or some unique key. And yeah, so we can also copy this and do it, paste it in this file, for example, and then we say, yeah, usings is a class which adds the CS usings to the top of the file. So a small description, for example, save it, and then we go to our mod generator. And as you can see, the Echo mod generator, this is the project I was working on. I just edited the files, is also located in the same directory as the doc creator. And the doc creator already opened in this. So yeah, on this we have our index, and there we specify we just create an instance of the class, and we specify the project. So this folder is like the folder we want to scan, and then we also specify this key, this OP docs I specified as the string he wants to filter. And what it does, yeah, it's kind of simple. It just, yeah, using some templates, for example, for this the HTML file, which should be outputted, and then it just, yeah, walks recursively through the whole dictionary, uh, no, not dictionary, directory, and it uses also always the app.helper folder. So this maybe I could add some dynamic to this, but yeah, the moment it's finished. And yeah, we can just, for example, if Node is installed, run app index, and as you can see, it pastes starting creation of pages, and then created page template HTML, created page recipe HTML, and so on and so on. We should do something like that. Yeah, so it's creating this thing. So in this www folder, all those stuff is getting added, so we can also remove it and run it again. And as you can see, it's just added automatically, and I just hosted it. So we can go, this is local hosted, and yeah, we have our HTML file. Of course, it isn't that pretty, so it's just some basic documentation about the project. I already know there's a lot of documentation builders around. I know that, but I don't want it to. I have fun writing some stuff like that. So this is my explanation why I do this. And yeah, for example, we can go to the usings, and as you can see, usings is a class on top of the file which adds its CS usings. So here's just the content of the yeah comment inside the code specified. Of course, it could be better styled, and if it won't find any documentation, it's just display no. And yeah, so this is working, and you could, for example, just upload this output directory to your server and host your documentation with it. Okay, so I guess that's all for today. Yeah, that's all for today. I will paste the Echo tool site inside my description. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.